Humanity had seen dark days before, but nothing like this. The Great War with the Vrax Dominion had lasted 6 long years, and now, finally, the truth was clear to everyone. Humanity was losing. Every screen in every command room showed the same thing: burning worlds, broken fleets, and the slow, painful collapse of everything humans had built across the stars. From the outside, the Earth Defense Station looked strong, a shining ring of steel above the blue planet, but inside the mood was heavy. Officers moved with tired faces, their uniforms dirty from long nights with no sleep. Every alarm, every red flashing light, reminded them how close they were to total defeat. At the center of the station stood Commander Erin Hale. She was known for her calm mind, her brave heart, and her steady voice. But today even she looked shaken. Her hands rested on the holographic table as she watched the map of the galaxy turn red, system after system falling to the Vrax. "They have taken the Vega line," an officer whispered behind her. Erin didn't look up. She already knew. And she knew what it meant. The Vega line was humanity's last major defense. Without it, the Vrax could reach Earth within weeks. Maybe even days. Another officer spoke, voice shaking. "Commander, our fleets, they can't hold them. We have no more reinforcements." Around the room, silence spread like cold wind. Everyone felt it. The end. The Vrax Dominion was unlike any enemy humanity had ever faced. Their ships were enormous, more like living mountains than machines. Their technology was older than human history. And their soldiers, brutal, merciless, and impossible to stop. The moment they entered a system, it was already lost. Humanity had tried everything. New weapons, secret alliances, hidden bases, reverse-engineered alien tech. Even dangerous experiments that broke all scientific rules. But nothing worked. Humanity was simply not strong enough. And now Earth, home, origin, last hope, was almost in reach of the Vrax. Commander Erin finally lifted her eyes. "Bring me the High Council," she said quietly. Her voice was calm, but inside she felt the weight of billions of lives pressing on her chest. Minutes later, holograms flickered to life around the table. The High Council appeared, old leaders, young strategists, scientists, admirals, all staring at the same dying galaxy. Their faces showed fear, and something worse, resignation. Admiral Rhodes spoke first. "We have no more options. If Earth falls, everything is finished." A scientist interrupted, voice nervous. "There is one option we have not used." Everyone turned to him. The room grew still. He hesitated. "Project Abyss species." The words alone caused a shift in the room. Several members stepped back. Someone whispered, "No. Not that. Never that." Commander Erin narrowed her eyes. "Explain." The scientist swallowed. Project Abyss was created more than 200 years ago. It was classified at the highest level. Only 7 humans ever saw the full report. It was about a species we encountered long before the Vrax. A species so powerful and so dangerous that humanity made a promise never to contact them again. Another council member shook her head. "We buried that project for a reason." "Yes," the scientist said softly. "Because we were afraid." Erin looked around at the defeated faces. Afraid. Everyone in this room was afraid. Everyone on the station. Everyone on every human world still left. "Open the file," she ordered. The room protested instantly. "Commander, no. That species is a threat to us too. We don't know what they will do if they return. It could destroy us faster than the Vrax." Erin raised her voice, firm but tired. "The Vrax will destroy us anyway. We have no time for fear." Silence again. Reluctantly, the scientist tapped a code into the table. Lights dimmed. The room filled with a deep, low hum as an old, locked file appeared. Dusty, ancient, forgotten. Project Abyss species, level black. The file opened. And for the first time in 2 centuries, humans saw the truth. The hollow image showed tall, shadow-like beings with glowing white eyes. Their bodies looked half real, half energy, as if they were made of dark smoke and lightning. Notes appeared beside the image. Extremely powerful. Unpredictable. Alive before human history. Feared by every species that encountered them. Never to be summoned. One line was highlighted in red. "Their help guarantees victory. Their presence guarantees a price." The room grew cold. Commander Erin spoke softly. "Did we ever fight them?" "No," the scientist answered. "We only found their world by accident. They let us leave alive. But they warned us never to return." "And if we call them now?" Erin asked. The scientist looked at her with fear in his eyes. "They might save us. Or they might destroy us." Erin stepped back from the table. She looked at the dying galaxy map again, the red spreading, the last human systems falling. Humanity was doomed. Everyone could see it. She breathed in slowly. "Activate the beacon," she said. Every head snapped toward her, shocked. "Commander, you can't. They are forbidden. They fear nothing, except themselves." Erin didn't look away. "We fear them," she said. "But the Vraks fear them more. That means something. Activate the beacon." The officer at the console hesitated. His hand shook. Then he pressed the command. A deep, ancient frequency echoed through space, and far away in the dark corners of the galaxy, something woke up. Something humanity swore to never summon again. The ancient beacon signal spread across the stars like a dark wave. It moved through empty space, past dying suns, slipped between asteroid fields, and echoed through long-forgotten regions where no human ship had ever returned. The moment the beacon activated, every system in the Earth Defense Station felt the shift. Lights flickered, screens shook, and a low vibration ran through the metal floor. Everyone felt it. Everyone knew something dangerous had begun. Commander Erin Hale stood in the center of the command room, watching the pulse move across the holographic galaxy map. Her jaw was tight, her hands behind her back. She looked calm, but inside her heart was pounding. They had done it. They had called the forbidden species. Behind her, officers whispered quietly, voices tense. "Do you think they will answer? What if they don't? What if they do?" No one knew which was worse. The scientist who had opened the file, Dr. Lennox, stepped beside Erin. "Commander, we cannot predict their reaction. The last time humans saw them, we barely escaped." Erin nodded. "And without help, we won't escape now." Dr. Lennox swallowed hard. "They are not like other aliens. They don't think the way we do. They don't fight for land or resources. They fight for reasons we do not understand." "Then we will try to understand," Erin replied. "Because the Vraks have left us no other choice." Before Lennox could answer, a loud alarm beeped through the room. An enemy fleet was approaching Earth's outer defense line. "The Vraks are moving again," an officer said. "And their numbers, they're bigger than ever." Erin didn't look away from the beacon signal. "They're trying to finish the war before our signal reaches its target." Everyone understood. Everyone felt the same fear. If the forbidden species did not respond in time, nothing would stop the Vraks. The screen changed again. New information appeared, glowing red. "Vraks Dominion High Command, message intercepted." "Play it," Erin ordered. The message was short but chilling. The Vraks commander's voice was deep, almost vibrating the room. "Humans have awakened the abyss. They are desperate. They are fools. Destroy them before the shadows arrive." The message ended. The command room fell silent. The Vraks, who crushed worlds with ease, who never feared anything, were afraid. Afraid of what humanity had summoned. Erin turned to her officers. "Prepare all fleets. We must hold the Vraks for as long as possible." "But, Commander," an officer said, "our ships won't last 20 minutes against that armada." Erin looked at him with steady eyes. "Then we last 20 minutes. No more. No less." The officer nodded, swallowing his fear. While preparations began, Dr. Lennox led Erin to a private chamber, the old Project Abyss research room. Dust covered the consoles. Old files lay scattered. The room felt like a tomb of forgotten horrors. Lennox activated the central hollow table. A swirling black symbol appeared, ancient, sharp, cold. "This," Lennox said, "is the mark of the species." Erin studied it. "Do we know their name?" "They never gave one," Lennox replied. "We called them the Abyssborn." The word seemed to drain the warmth from the room. Erin asked, "What else do we know about them?" Lennox opened more files. Images appeared, old recordings from humanity's first encounter. The first image showed a human ship drifting into a dark nebula. Strange lights surrounded it. The second showed tall, shadow-like beings approaching the hull. Their bodies shimmered like smoke trapped in glass. Their eyes glowed white. The third image was the most disturbing. A human captain kneeling on the floor, shaking with fear as the Abyssborn leader leaned close, whispering something no one could ever translate. Erin watched carefully. "Did they kill them?" "No," Lennox said. "They let them go. But they erased the ship's memory logs. Only fragments remained." "Why erase the logs?" Erin asked. "Maybe they didn't want us to understand them," Lennox said. "Or maybe they were protecting us." Erin almost laughed. "Protecting us? That's hard to believe." Lennox sighed. "Commander, the Abyssborn are not good or evil. They simply are. Their actions follow rules we do not understand. And when they fight, their power breaks the laws of nature. Erin stared at the symbol again. She felt something cold inside her chest. What does the file say about their alliance terms? She asked. Lennox's expression darkened. Only one line survived. He pulled up the text. If summoned, they will fight for the summoner. But their victory always comes with a price. And the summoner must pay it. Erin did not respond. Because everyone already knew humanity had nothing left to offer, except itself. Hours passed slowly. Human fleets moved into position. The Vrax armada approached like a storm of black fire. And the beacon signal kept moving, deeper and deeper into forbidden space. Erin waited on the bridge, watching the timer. 10 minutes until the Vrax arrived. 8 minutes. 5 minutes. She kept her eyes on the beacon indicator, hoping, begging, for a sign. Suddenly, the signal stopped. A new reading appeared. Something answered. The holomap shook violently. The lights dimmed. A deep vibration filled the air, like the heartbeat of a giant creature waking after a long sleep. Dr. Lennox gasped. Commander, they heard us. A black tear opened in space outside the station. Not a portal, not a wormhole, something older, darker, alive. A whispering sound spread through every speaker. Every human felt a cold breath on their skin. Then the voice came, not loud but everywhere. Humanity calls us again. Erin felt her blood run cold. The Abyssborn had awakened. And they were coming. The tear in space widened slowly, stretching like a wound in the fabric of the universe. Every person on the Earth defense station felt their heartbeat grow faster as strange black energy filled the air. The lights flickered again, then stabilized, but a heavy silence covered the room, almost like a thick invisible weight pressing down on everyone. Commander Erin Hale stood completely still. She had seen enemy ships. She had seen planets fall. She had seen war in its worst form. But she had never felt fear like this. Around her, officers whispered in trembling voices. What is that? Is it a portal? No, it's something else. Dr. Lennox stared at his tablet, hands shaking. Commander, we are detecting energy levels beyond anything recorded. This is not technology. It's something alive. Before Erin could answer, the tear pulsed. Boom. A deep thump echoed across the station, felt more than heard. The floor vibrated and several crew members grabbed onto railings. On the holographic map, the Vrax armada kept moving forward. They were minutes away from attacking frontline humans. But now their ship movements looked different. Slower, nervous. The Vrax were afraid. Truly afraid. Erin turned to her communications officer. Open a channel to all human fleets. Tell them to hold position. No one fires. Not until we understand what is coming through. The officer nodded quickly. Yes, Commander. Another pulse. Then another. The tear in space stretched open fully, like a dark eye staring at the galaxy. And then it appeared. A shape slipped out. Not a ship. Not a creature. Something between both. It was large, black, and smooth, almost like a living shadow molded into the shape of a vessel. No engines. No wings. No visible weapons. Its surface moved like liquid metal but darker, so dark it seemed to absorb the starlight around it. Its edges glowed faintly with pale white light, like lightning trapped beneath the surface. Erin's breath caught in her throat. Dr. Lennox whispered, the first Abyssborn ship, after 200 years. The ship spread out tendrils of mist-like energy, reaching gently toward the station. Not attacking, just sensing. Crew members stepped back instinctively. The voice came again, filling every speaker, every room, every corner of the station. Come. Pull. Everywhere. You call us. You summon the Abyssborn. Why? The word why echoed unnaturally, bending the air. Erin stepped forward. This is Commander Erin Hale of the human species. We seek your help. Our enemy, the Vrax Dominion, will destroy us. Silence. Then the voice whispered. The Vrax, still live. We remember their fear. Erin's eyes widened. The Abyssborn remembered the Vrax. And the Vrax clearly remembered them. Another dark ship slipped through the tear. Then a third. Then 5 more. Soon the black sky outside the station was filled with Abyssborn vessels. Silent, watching, waiting. Each ship emitted a strange trembling sound, like distant thunder underwater. Crew members held their breaths. A communications officer suddenly gasped. Commander, the Vrax fleet has stopped advancing. Dr. Lennox checked the readings. Their entire armada is retreating 3%. They're slowing down. Erin shook her head. Not retreating. They're hesitating. They know what the Abyssborn can do. For a moment, hope flickered inside every human heart. But the Abyssborn voice came again, colder this time. We sensed your fear when you called. And we tasted your desperation. Show us, the enemy. Aaron pointed to the holographic map. The red clusters. Those are Vrak's ships. The room dimmed. The map flickered. Something, the Abyssborn, was touching the holographic system through energy alone. Then dozens of Abyssborn ships turned slowly in the same direction. They aligned like a silent army, facing the distant Vrak's armada. Dr. Lennox whispered, "Commander, they're preparing for war." Aaron didn't answer. She felt the truth. She felt the cold pressure building in her chest. One of the Abyssborn ships moved closer to the station, stopping just meters away. Its surface shimmered with liquid darkness. A figure appeared outside, walking in space without a suit. Humanoid. Tall. Thin. Made of shadow and energy, eyes glowing like white fire. The figure hovered before the station window, looking directly at Aaron. Every crew member froze. The Abyssborn spoke, not through speakers this time but directly into every mind on the station. "Human leader, you summoned us. We will answer. But understand this truth. Where we walk, balance dies." Cold wind swept through the station even though no air should have moved. Aaron forced her voice to stay steady. "If you help us defeat the Vraks, we accept whatever comes." The shadow being tilted its head slightly. Aaron felt a strange emotion from it. Amusement. Or hunger. "Very well," the Abyssborn said. "The Vraks shall fall first." Outside, the Abyssborn ships began to ignite with pale white fire. A low, rising hum filled the space around Earth. The tear in reality widened again, forming a gigantic black storm. Hundreds more ships started emerging. Aaron whispered softly, "My God, how many of them are there?" Dr. Lennox answered with a trembling voice, "Commander, this is not their full force. This is only their first response." The Vrak's armada, seeing the full Abyssborn fleet arrive, suddenly reformed their battle lines. They knew what was coming. The universe held its breath. And then, with a scream of dark energy, the Abyssborn attacked. The first Abyssborn strike was not like normal weapons. There was no flash, no beam, no explosion. Instead, the space between the Abyssborn fleet and the Vrak's armada turned completely silent, too silent. All sound inside human ships muted for a brief moment. Even the hum of engines faded. It felt as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Then the darkness moved. A wave of black, thin as paper but stretching across thousands of kilometers, rippled outward. It passed through space like a shadow carried by wind. The moment it touched the first line of Vrak's ships, reality broke. Vrak's vessels twisted inward, metal bending like soft clay. Their energy shields shrank and collapsed. The ships didn't explode, they folded as if some invisible hand grabbed them and crushed them like toys. The shockwave reached the Earth defense station a second later. The lights flickered again, screens shook and several officers stumbled. What power is that?" one officer whispered. Dr. Lennox stared wide-eyed at the readings. "Commander, whatever they're using, it's rewriting physics. This is beyond any science we know." Commander Aaron Hale didn't speak. She couldn't look away. The Abyssborn fleet advanced calmly, silently, gracefully, like shadows gliding across water. Their ships didn't fire cannons or missiles. Instead, streams of pale white lines slipped from their hulls, bending into strange shapes that twisted and flowed like smoke. Each line touched a Vrak's ship. Each ship died instantly. In minutes, the front half of the Vrak's armada was gone. A trembling voice came through Aaron's comm line. It was Admiral Rhodes, commanding one of Earth's frontline fleets. "Commander, the Vraks are breaking formation. They're panicking. I've never seen them panic before." Aaron nodded slowly. "They are afraid of the Abyssborn. More than they're afraid of us." She looked out at the dark fleet, beautiful and terrifying. While humans watched with awe and fear, the Abyssborn warships moved like predators chasing wounded prey. And then one of them approached. A massive Abyssborn ship drifted close to the Earth defense station, overshadowing it like a giant wing. Its dark surface rippled as if something alive was breathing underneath. From the ship emerged several figures, Abyssborn warriors, floating through space like ghosts. They didn't use suits. They didn't need oxygen. Their bodies glowed with faint white fire. They passed by the station windows. Crew members froze, watching the tall shadow beings glide effortlessly. "They're looking inside," a young officer whispered. Aaron stood at the window, staring directly at one of them. The abyss-born warrior paused and turned its glowing eyes toward her. She felt something cold slide across her mind, like someone reading her thoughts, her memories, her fears. Then the creature drifted away, returning to the battle. Lennox stepped beside her. "Commander, what did they see?" Aaron exhaled slowly. "Everything." Meanwhile, the Vrax fleet attempted a counterattack. They regrouped and formed a protective ring around their command ship, a massive vessel shaped like a black spiked crown. The Vrax commander, Lord Kelrath, broadcasted a message across human and abyss-born channels. "Humans, you have made a deadly mistake. Those creatures will not serve you, they will consume you." His voice crackled with fear but also fury. Aaron lifted her head. "Put it on the main screen." Kelrath's insect-like face appeared, eyes burning with rage. "Abyssborn, you should not be here. This war does not concern your kind." The Abyssborn answered not with words but with silence. Then a single voice echoed across every ship, human, Vrax, and Abyssborn alike. "Vrax, you remembered our warning." Kelrath froze. The voice continued, calm and cold. "You broke it." The Abyssborn fleet moved all at once, thousands of shadow ships sweeping forward with terrifying speed. Kelrath roared, "Fire! All weapons, now!" Beams of red and blue energy shot toward the Abyssborn. Explosions lit up the darkness. For a moment it looked like the Vrax might push back. But then, the Abyssborn ships dissolved into smoke. The Vrax blasts passed through them harmlessly. And the shadow ships reformed behind the Vrax fleet. Aaron whispered, "They can turn intangible." Lennox whispered back, "They can be anywhere. This is not just power, this is dominance." The Abyssborn attacked again. This time their white fire tendrils pierced Vrax ships like spears of light. Each impact tore open hulls, sending soldiers and equipment flying out like dust. Kelrath's voice screamed commands. "Regroup, shields up. Do not let them." His command ship was suddenly wrapped in pale white energy. Everyone in the human station held their breath. The Abyssborn voice whispered softly, "Your time is finished." And the Vrax flagship imploded, silently as if crushed by an invisible fist. The remaining Vrax ships tried to flee. But the Abyssborn moved faster. They hunted every last ship, cutting them down with terrifying precision. Within 20 minutes, the entire Vrax armada was destroyed. Not a single ship survived. Earth Defense Station filled with stunned silence. Humans looked at one another, unsure whether to cheer or shake in fear. Aaron stepped forward and spoke softly. "It's over, we won." But Dr. Lennox shook his head. "No, Commander, it's not over at all." Aaron stared at him. "What do you mean?" Lennox pointed to the window. The Abyssborn fleet had turned away from the Vrax remains, and was now slowly facing Earth. The lights dimmed again. Abyssborn ships moved into a perfect formation, a ritual formation. The shadow being who had spoken before appeared once more outside the station window. Its voice echoed across every human speaker. "We destroyed your enemy. Now, a humanity must pay its price." The room froze. Aaron felt her blood run cold. The true cost of summoning the Abyssborn was about to begin. The battle above Earth turned in a strange and terrifying way. The enemy fleet, once moving like a perfect machine, was now confused. Their ships crashed into each other, their weapons went silent, and some even fired in the wrong direction. The summoned ones had arrived. And everything changed. General Rafi stood in the command room watching the chaos on the screens. A cold feeling grew in his chest. Yes, the enemy was losing control, but the summoned ones were not helping humans out of kindness. They were doing it because they wanted something. Something big. Something dangerous. The room was silent. Every soldier stared at the screens as if watching a nightmare. Captain Mira whispered, "Sir, we did the right thing, right?" Rafi could not answer. Not yet. He kept his eyes on the largest screen, where a giant shadow moved between the enemy ships. It was not a ship. It was not a living creature either. It was something in between, shifting like smoke, then turning solid like metal, then stretching like living muscle. Whenever it touched an enemy ship, the ship went dead instantly. No explosions. No fire. Just silence. Like the ship's soul had been taken. Far away from Earth, Commander Holt floated inside her escape pod, watching the same horror from space. She had escaped the enemy flagship only minutes before the summoned ones destroyed it. But now she had a clear view of their power so great it made the stars look small. Her voice shook as she spoke into the pod's recorder. "This is Commander Holt. I don't know if anyone will hear this, but listen carefully. These beings, they are not like us. They don't fight for life or victory. They fight because the universe itself bends around them. They are wrong. They move like they're not supposed to exist. She paused. And humans summon them. Her breath fogged the glass as she stared at the giant shadow passing in front of her pod. If it noticed her, she would not survive a single second. Back on Earth, Rafi finally spoke. We must contact them. Everyone in the room froze. Sir, what? Contact the summoned ones? Captain Mira asked. Rafi nodded slowly. Yes, we called them. We opened the door. We must talk to them, before they decide to take something we cannot afford to lose. But contacting the summoned ones was not easy. They did not speak through sound. They did not speak through images. They communicated through feelings, deep emotional waves that shook the mind. Only one person in the room had ever spoken to them before. The interpreter. His name was Cade. A quiet man. Pale skin. Dark eyes. A strange calmness around him. He was not a soldier. He was once a scientist who studied old alien ruins. Ruins that hinted at the existence of the summoned ones. He walked forward slowly. I can try, he said. But understand this clearly, every contact with them changes the mind. A person never stays the same again. Rafi swallowed hard. Do it. Cade closed his eyes. His breathing slowed. The screens around the command room flickered, showing random images, broken ships, burning worlds, a field of stars bending like liquid. Then Cade spoke in a voice that was not his own. You called us. The room felt colder instantly. A whisper passed through every mind, even those not touching the communication system. Rafi stepped forward. Yes. Humanity called you for help. The answer came like a wave of ice. Help? You misunderstand. We do not help. We correct. Correct what? Captain Mira asked before she could stop herself. The answer was worse than silence. The balance. Images flashed on the screens. Entire galaxies collapsing, strange creatures feeding on cosmic storms, ancient civilizations destroyed by the enemy species now attacking Earth. These invaders upset the balance. They spread like a disease. We remove disease. Rafi exhaled slowly. And when the disease is removed, what happens to humanity? A long pause. The lights flickered. Cade's voice trembled as he repeated the summoned one's answer. Humanity is uncertain. The room filled with fear. Uncertain? Rafi asked. What does that mean? Cade's voice shifted again. You walk on a thin thread. The invaders are a greater danger. When they are gone, we will decide if you two disturb the balance. The room fell silent. The truth hit everyone at once. They were not fighting with the summoned ones. They were simply waiting for their turn to be judged. The enemy was losing fast now, but victory no longer felt like hope. It felt like a countdown. A countdown to whatever decision these ancient beings would make next. Cade collapsed to the floor. Two soldiers rushed to him, but he pushed them away weakly. They're not done, he whispered. This is only the beginning. Outside, the sky ripped open as another summoned one arrived, larger than the first, its shadow covering half the horizon. General Rafi clenched his fists. Prepare the defense lines, he ordered. We survived the enemy. Now we must survive our own salvation. And the real war was just beginning. The sky above Earth looked broken. Great cracks of light spread across the clouds as the second summoned one arrived. It was bigger, darker, and far more powerful than the first. People on the streets fell to their knees, not in worship, but in pure fear. Birds stopped flying. Cars stopped moving. Even the wind felt afraid to blow. Inside Earth Command, alarms rang, but no one spoke. No one moved. General Rafi stood stiff, staring at the massive creature forming above the atmosphere. Its body shifted like a storm made of shadows. It had no clear shape, sometimes looking like a giant winged beast, sometimes like a floating fortress, sometimes like a ghost of a forgotten god. Captain Mira whispered, Sir, if they decide we are a problem, we cannot fight them. Rafi did not answer. He already knew. Humanity had weapons, armies, machines, defenses. But nothing on Earth, nothing humans could imagine, was strong enough to fight the summoned ones. They were beyond war. They were judgment. Cade, the interpreter, lay on a medical bed nearby, shaking. His mind burned from the last contact. A doctor tried to calm him, but he pushed the doctor's hands away. They are not done speaking, Cade said in a weak voice. They're preparing to look at humanity, all of us. Rafi turned sharply. You mean, they will judge the entire species at once? Cade nodded. They don't see individuals. They see the whole race. They are deciding if humans are dangerous or useful. And the second summoned one, it is the judge. A cold shiver passed through the room. Far above Earth, Commander Holt's escape pod drifted slowly. She floated close to the enormous shadow of the judge. Its surface rippled like it was made of oil and starlight. She was close enough to see strange symbols glowing across its body, symbols older than any civilization she had ever studied. Her voice trembled as she recorded another message. I think this one is different from the first. The first fights the enemy. This one is watching everything. Watching us. The creature turned its vast, shifting face toward her pod. Holt stopped breathing. For a moment, she felt like her mind left her body, like she was falling backward into an endless ocean. She saw flashes of Earth's history, wars, cities, families, storms, laughter, fire, peace, destruction. All at once. She felt the weight of billions of lives. Then the vision ended. She gasped for air. They're inside my head, she whispered. They're inside all our heads. Back at Earth Command, every person suddenly froze. Captain Mira dropped her tablet. A soldier whispered a prayer. Another cried out. A powerful feeling washed through the room, heavy, ancient, impossible to resist. It was not a voice, but it had meaning. A meaning that every mind understood instantly. We see you. People across Earth felt it too. Farmers in fields, children in schools, old people in hospitals. Every human felt the same cold wave enter their thoughts. The judge had begun. Rafi clenched the edge of the command table. Focus, he shouted, trying to break the fear. Everyone stay alert. But no one fully heard him. They were trapped in the summoned one's judgment. Cade, trembling, spoke again. They're looking at everything we ever did, everything we ever built, every war, every kindness, every mistake. They are putting our entire history on a scale. Captain Mira whispered, and if we fail that scale? Cade closed his eyes. They erase us. Outside, the last enemy ships were destroyed. The first summoned one finished its task. It floated silently, waiting for the judge's decision. The enemy species was gone. Now only humanity was left to face judgment. General Rafi stepped forward. His voice was steady, but inside he was breaking. Can we speak to them? He asked. Cade nodded slowly. But be careful. Every word will be measured. Rafi took a deep breath. Then he spoke, directing his voice toward the sky. Summoned ones, we did not call you to challenge the balance. We called you because we had no other choice. Our enemy wanted to destroy us completely. The air shifted. The temperature dropped. A wave of ancient power answered through Cade. You act from fear, not wisdom. Rafi swallowed. Maybe. But fear is part of being human. Another wave shook the building. You destroy your own world. You fight each other. You poison your home. Why should you continue to exist? The soldiers looked terrified, because the summoned ones were not wrong. Rafi forced himself to speak. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, we fight. Yes, we break things. But we also build. We learn. We change. We grow. We protect. We love. That is what makes us human. Silence. Deep, heavy silence. Cade trembled as if something huge was moving inside his mind. They are listening, he whispered. But the verdict is not decided. The judge's shadow grew darker. It lifted one enormous limb, glowing symbols swirling around it. Captain Mira's eyes widened. Sir, they're preparing something. Some kind of final action. Rafi stared at the sky. Then we need to act. Now. He did not know what to do next. But he knew one thing. Humanity had minutes, maybe seconds, before the summoned ones made their final decision. And whatever they decided would change everything. The sky over Earth was almost completely dark now. The judge, vast, silent, and ancient, covered half the heavens. Its swirling body pulsed with strange symbols, each brighter than lightning. Every pulse sent a deep vibration through the ground, through the oceans, and through every human heart. Humanity had survived the enemy. Now it had to survive its own saviors. Inside the Earth command room, General Rafi stood frozen as the judge raised one enormous limb. The symbols around it grew brighter, spinning faster. Captain Mira grabbed the edge of a console to stay steady. Sir, I think this is it, she said. They're about to make their choice. Rafi took a slow breath. His voice was firm, but his hands shook. Whatever happens, humanity will face it together. Cade, the interpreter, lay on the floor, clutching his head. His voice cracked as he whispered. They are still unsure. They are looking at the last thing. The final part of us that they haven't judged yet. What is it? Mira asked. Cade lifted his shaking eyes. Hope. Far above Earth, Commander Holt floated helplessly in her escape pod. Below her, cities flickered like scattered sparks on the dark planet. Above her, the judge's shadow blotted out the stars. She felt its presence inside her mind again, a cold, measuring force trying to understand the meaning of humanity. She whispered into the recorder. If this is the end, then let history know we didn't die afraid. We died fighting for each other. But deep inside she wasn't ready to die. And neither was humanity. Back at Earth Command, a sudden shockwave hit the building. Screens flickered violently. Alarms wailed. Cade gasped. They are speaking. All of them. The entire collective. The first summoned one, smaller but still terrifying, drifted closer to the judge. The air above Earth rippled like boiling water. Then, a deep vibration filled every mind on the planet. Not words. Not sound. Meaning. We decide. Everyone held their breath. Captain Mira closed her eyes. General Rafi tightened his fists. Families hugged. Children cried. The world went silent. Then came a second wave of meaning, cold, sharp, and final. Humanity is. A bright light exploded across the sky. A moment paused in eternity. And then, aloud, Captain Mira gasped. Rafi staggered back in shock. Kate collapsed to the floor, sobbing with relief. The judge lowered its glowing limb. The spiraling symbol stopped spinning. The darkness in the sky began to fade. The decision was made. Humanity would live. But the summoned ones weren't finished. Another wave of meaning flooded into every mind. Live with balance. Break it again, and we return. Rafi felt the warning like ice in his bones. The summoned ones were giving humanity a second chance, but not forever. One mistake, one major imbalance, and they would come back. Not as allies. Not as protectors. But as executioners. Billions of people around the world felt the same message. Some cried. Some cheered. Some fell to their knees in gratitude. Commander Holt, still drifting in orbit, felt tears slide down her cheeks. They let us live, she whispered. We got another chance. But then she saw something the others couldn't. The judge was leaving, but not disappearing. It was moving far out into space, stopping just beyond the edge of Earth's orbit, like a guardian turned warden. Watching. Silent. Waiting. She spoke again into her recorder. They're not gone. They're watching us. Making sure we stay in balance. Humanity isn't free, not really. But we're alive. And that's enough for now. Back at Earth Command, Captain Mira approached Rafi. What now, sir? She asked softly. Rafi looked at the sky screen. The enemy was destroyed. The summoned ones were withdrawing. The world was still standing. But everything had changed. We rebuild, he said. We learn. We grow. We prove that we deserve to survive. Cade, leaning weakly against the wall, added. And we never call them again. Summoning them once nearly ended us. A second time would finish us. Rafi nodded. I agree. The last summoned one, the smaller fighter, gave one final pulse of light and vanished into the darkness of space. The judge followed, drifting back like a shadow returning to the night. Soon the stars reappeared. The sky cleared. Earth breathed.